Welcome back for another video. In today's video we'll be looking at the top 100 greatest ever FPL managers, including their team selections, player ownership, transfer plans and more. If you want to keep up with what the greatest ever FPL managers are doing this season, don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy the video. With the many millions of FPL managers, just barely 100 meet the criteria to join our list. The criteria to join this list is a minimum of 4 top 1k finishes or a minimum of 7 top 10k finishes. They are undisputably the greatest managers to have ever played the game, with a record to prove it. We call them the Elite 100. That said, there's actually slightly more than 100, but to keep it simple, we'll mostly use percentages when going through their teams and moves. Let's start off with the Elite 100's team selections. By aggregating all of their teams together, we can arrive at a consensus team, which is a full squad of 15 players that they agree on having the most. One reasonable conclusion you could draw is that the higher percentage a player has, the more you should consider owning them. The Elite 100 template team is as follows. A huge shake-up to the template team with 6 changes and a formation switch to 3-4-3. Both goalkeepers De Gea and Sanchez leave the team and Foster and Ramsdale replace them. Foster was unexpectedly missing from the matchday squad with COVID after starting the previous game week. There's a fair chance he could return for the second of their double, though a single game week may not be particularly good for those who have him. In defence, Reguilon drops out and is replaced by Ben White. Both Gray and Mount leave the midfield and they're replaced by Foden and Rafinha, both of which blanked in their respective games. Leeds have a couple of postponements to be rearranged as double game weeks, which could come as soon as Game Week 24, if not Game Week 25 or 26, so it looks like an easy hold for now. Leeds and Aston Villa are the only two sides with a small chance of getting a double Game Week 24. All other teams are likely to get a double in 25 or 26. Up front, Antonio drops out of the team and is replaced by King, who only got 2 points but still outscored Dennis by 3, who got the red card before the 60th minute in the match against Norwich. Dennis's ownership shot up from 47% to 77% for the double game week, so a huge amount of the Elite 100 were burned by the sending off. Salah's expected to return from the African Cup of Nations in time for Game Week 24 according to reports, so it'll be interesting to see how quickly the Elite 100 jump back on him. Over the last 4 game weeks, Salah has an expected goal involvement of 2.56 XGI, which ranks 6th among all players, despite missing 2 games. This tells you everything you need to know about where to prioritise your next move. Heading into Game Week 23, here's their transfer activity. A calmer game week as 21% of the Elite 100 rolled their transfer and 55% made use of their free transfers. 26% took a -4 here and a couple of managers took a -8. No -12s this game week. With Brighton and Chelsea blank in this game week, combined with Salah's expected return, we may see the hits pick up again, particularly if we get double game week news before the deadline. Before we take a look at their transfers, we caught up with Adman Harilovic, known as FPL Bald Eagle. He's one of the few managers that narrowly misses the criteria to join the Elite 100, but has a record that fully justifies the inclusion and gives us valuable extra data. Over the last 5 seasons in a row, he's finished in the top 10k. In fact, his average rank over that period is an astonishing 3.8k. Here's what he had to say. The first question was, what tips can you share behind your success? He said, what worked for me in my 6 seasons I've played FPL was mainly get as much info as possible before making transfers. Look ahead for good fixture swings. Listen to what your gut is telling you. Focus on the decision making part of the game, not the outcome. It's a live game, so be adaptable and flexible, as no season is the same and there's no strict rules. Don't panic when things go wrong. Don't get players just because everyone owns them that particular game week, no room for FOMO. Don't overthink and be stubborn. Change your position or a club for a player can go a long way. Watch games, follow your targets closely and compare stats with the eye test. Always be ready to learn. Plan your captains for the next few game weeks ahead. Pick your battles to be aggressive, timing is very important. Limit your hits, and lastly, enjoy the game, very important. The next question was, what's your chip strategy for the remainder of the season? He said, in this chaos that we're currently in with the COVID situation and teams postponing games for different reasons, I try not to focus too far ahead in the future. I will use my 2 free hit chips most likely in game weeks. I see an opportunity to gain some rank over rivals, with so many double game weeks still to come. Hopefully a more stable time so I get 2 games out of players. I plan to wildcard around game week 30 to attack the end of the season. I'll triple captain Salah in his double game week if it falls kindly for us. I'm going game week by game week at the moment, so no rush. And the last question was, what's your best FPL memory? He said it's tough to mention just one. Aguero's 5 goals as captain versus Newcastle felt great. Lukaku as captain when he scored 4 goals. I love it when my defenders score big points, for example Reece James 21 points, Trent Alexander-Arnold 24 points, Digne 17 points all come to mind, all in a single game week. Thanks again to Adnan for taking the time to come on this week's episode. A link to his socials are in the description. If you are enjoying this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for future episodes. A quick look at the chip usage among the Elite 100 next. 1% activated their wildcard in Gameweek 23, though it was such a low scoring game week they probably feel they didn't get value out of the wildcard. Unless your team is in really poor shape, the most sensible approach could be to hold out until we know when the double game weeks will fall and attack the doubles. A single manager activated their triple captain chip. It's very probable that we have a better double game week fixture pair than Watford's back in Gameweek 23, so those who used theirs already may ultimately regret the decision, but at least it's one less headache to consider for the remainder. Onto the Elite 100's transfers. Very few got it right this game week, which underlines just how unfortunate the Dennis sending off was. The most popular move was Antonio to Dennis, which was a move made by 29 managers. 11 sold Ronaldo for Dennis instead. 5 managers sold Son for KDB, which was a successful transfer as he got the assist for Laporte's goal and 3 bonus. There's a lot of speculation of a double game week 25 and 26 involving the likes of Tottenham, Liverpool, Man United and others. If it does become the case, then it looks impossible to fit KDB in alongside the likes of Salah, Kane, Son, Ronaldo and Bruno. Flexibility could be key in the coming weeks and a bank transfer will be a huge advantage. It goes without saying that this season transfers must be made as late as reasonably possible in case of any late news or postponements. The double game week 23 for Watford and Burnley was announced on the day of the deadline. The Premier League will no doubt want to reschedule postponements for as soon as possible, but ideally they'll also have to announce them as late as possible. We'll finish by looking at how the Elite 100 managers are ranking currently. Their ranks are categorised into 5 areas: top 10k, top 100k, top 500k, top 1 mil and outside top 1 mil. The breakdown is as follows. 4% of the Elite 100 are currently ranked inside the top 10k, which hasn't shifted since last game week. There has been an increase to 45% ranked inside the top 100k, so almost half are inside that bracket now. At the opposite end, a couple of managers have slipped outside the top 1 mil. The top manager is still Finn Solly, who's currently ranked 163rd and on course for another hugely impressive season after finishing 39th last season. He was one of the many unfortunate managers with the armband on Dennis, and in his case Foster in goal, which just goes to show the Elite 100 are human after all. That concludes this video on the Elite 100. If you've watched this series before, you'll have noticed the redesign, so let me know in the comments if you like the changes, and if you've got any other feedback, it's always welcomed. Big thank you to Adnan for taking the time to answer the questions on this week's episode. We'll continue to follow the Elite 100 throughout the season, so if you'd like to keep up with the top 100 greatest managers, make sure you're subscribed. Likewise, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like.